In my own perspective, I look at the Human Rights Commission and the commission as parents. As parents, when we are bringing up children, there are issues normally between children that parents need to address with the utmost neutrality, with the utmost impartiality, and utmost independence. A wrong will remain wrong, whether it's done by the majority. I bring a point of gross human rights violation in relation to the National Unity Platform. I look at ourselves as the most vulnerable. We have had most of our supporters missing. The newest on board is Honorable Muwanga Kivumbi. Today is the 17th day, and we do not know where he is. I bring it with passion because I have been there. In 2021, I was abducted and detained in Makenke military barracks. It's in Mbarara, where I spent 3 weeks. It looked like it was simple then, and I was charged with possession of military attires, which I never had. You know, when you're in their custody, they are free to trump any charge against you. So to me, it looks like supporting opposition brands you as a lawbreaker. That was the first phase, and it looked simpler because the government keeps on advancing and making the mistakes and punishments look gross. That was simple. I was detained in a military barracks. I was there for 3 weeks, and I was granted bail through a court martial, and I went home. I kept on reporting until they got tired and told me not to report. This time round, it was a unique scenario. I was contesting for woman member of parliament for Ruchiga. The process that looked so democratic. On 14th, when everyone in the politics is supposed to climax the activities, give appointment letters to agents, is when I was abducted by men dressed in UPDF uniform. It was the worst ordeal. It was in front of my children. We are still traumatized, but in my heart I kept asking, when did contesting on opposition become a crime to this much? It was so unfortunate that I was blindfolded. We drove from Ruchiga, I think for many hours, but I realized I was in Buganda because the place that is branded as basement, it was in January, and you would hear megaphones announcing schools in Chitoro, Entebbe. So I believe I was those ends. I was held in that basement. I can't tell you, I know where it is, because once you board, you're blindfolded, and the only place you will realize or you will know is your room, because they remove the blindfold as you're entering the room. I went with army men. They dropped me at Kabale police station, and in a blink of an eye, the police officer had presented me to the magistrate in Makanga, and I was remanded at Ndorwa prison for inciting violence. Even then, even if I had incited violence, would they wait and abduct me on 14th when I was a candidate expecting to supervise my own election on 15th? So at times we imagine that these acts are meant to silence us. These acts are meant to suppress us. You imagine an election that you have funded, and on the last day you disappear. Your phones are off. Agents are looking for you. They do not have appointments. It was really so bad. Now, that aside, Muwanga Kivumbi. This is the 17th day. We have lamented, and he's nowhere. At times we are given a ray of hope, even when it's not a ray of hope. When somebody tweets, But this someone is somewhere. So now that, because honestly, when the colleague Arias Lukwago was abducted, at least we saw a tweet in Pampers. It was so bad, but at least we said he's somewhere. Somewhere is where we want. We are now asking, where is Muwanga Kivumbi? Is he alive? Is he dead? Is he detained? Is he in the basement? Where is he? Because it was unique that wasn't actually picked from his home. For us, when we are from our homes, we labor the cameras show where we are. This time around, it was on a roadblock that I believe is illegally there, manned by police officers. When they stopped him, the clip that we saw, now these people in plain clothes picked him. But I would have thought that police would have taken interest to know this person that we had stopped, where is he being taken to? It was shameful that police said they didn't have him. Yes, it may be okay. If they didn't have him, who has him? So, allow me call you Mama. In my own opinion, as a commission, like I began, you're our parent who should see the rights of little boy A, the Jaden B, the whoever. Kindly do a self-assessment as a commission. Are we still on the track? Are we fighting for the human rights of Ugandans? As a self-assessment, we as a commission. Then two, what does the public think about us? Are we still serving their interest or they are on their own? With those few remarks, Mama Wangadya, I request that you put our voices together and we look for where Muwanga Kivumbi is. And two, now that I was waived of my right to fully finish up my campaigns, I will at a later date, after this course is after that my court case is maybe wherever it will end, I will at a later date come to you and show you how unfairly I was treated during the elections. Thank you.
Thank you very much. To raise an issue which I belongs at the very heart of human rights, but is often not captured directly. The Constitution guarantees the right to life, and under Article 22, it also recognizes the special rights, guarantees the right to life under Article 22. The Constitution also recognizes the special rights of children under Article 34 and places a duty upon the state to promote health, food security, and proper nutrition. These provisions must be read together. The right to life is not merely the right not to be unlawfully deprived of life. It must also include the right of every child to develop physically, mentally, and intellectually to his full potential. Today, Uganda has approximately 2 million stunted children under the age of 5. And which counts to about 26% of the children under 5 suffer from stunting. These children are not merely shorter than expected. Stunting permanently impairs brain development, learning ability, health, productivity, and future opportunities. I can quote many sources, but I request people to check their own sources. I use UBOS, but you can check online and determine. I'm not holding you on the statistics. Please verify for yourself. So stunting impairs brain development, learning ability, health, productivity, and future opportunity. It silently robs a child of the quality of life that the Constitution seeks to protect. I therefore submit that this is not merely a health or a development issue. It is one of the greatest human rights challenges facing our nation today. If we rightly condemn unlawful detention, torture, and suppression of political freedoms, we must recognize that the silent denial of opportunity suffered by millions of Ugandan children. I speak this with particular regret. I had intended to place before the people of Uganda a comprehensive program to address child malnutrition, stunting, and the wider crisis of human development or human underdevelopment. However, my constitutional right to offer myself as a presidential candidate was interfered with. As a consequence, the people of Uganda were denied the opportunity to hear, debate, and judge those proposals at a national level. When the right of a citizen to stand for public office is unlawfully restricted, it's not only that individuals' rights that are affected. The electorate are deprived of ideas, choices, and solutions. Human rights are diminished not only by suppression of our liberty, but also suppression of peaceful democratic competition and opportunity to present alternative visions for our country's future. I therefore urge the Uganda Human Rights Commission to recognize that protecting the constitutional rights of Ugandans includes protecting every child's right to develop to his or her full potential and protecting every citizen's right to participate fully in the democratic process through which those solutions can be presented. So I will support
justice, law and order sector. The building where we are is a jealous building. And for me, is where I want to put my focus. Number one, we have stated that Uganda Human Rights Commission is actually the gatekeeper of human rights. And as a country, we don't have another human rights commission except this one, headed by Justice Wangadya. So we will have problems with it, but we will run to it. That's why we are here, Madam Chairperson. But fundamentally, the justice, law and order sector is placed in the same building. Colleagues who may be coming here for the first time, the police is just there. All institutions in the justice, law and order sector are on this building where we are. My appeal, Madam Chairperson, is on the element of human rights education and inculcation, especially in security and military officers. Considering what actually happens, you really wonder whether our officers undergo sufficient training and education in human rights. So since you belong to the jealous sector, you are always together with the judiciary, the police, the army. Kindly find space to enjoin these other institutions to respect human rights, especially the army and the police. I know that the Human Rights Commission may have limitations. For example, under the law, you don't investigate matters before court. That we know very well. But that in itself cannot stop you in your in-house meetings from raising some of the human rights issues that are really apparent in the public. For example, Madam Chairperson, what happened to the issue of police summons or court summons? What happened to it? Why would a party leader like the Honorable Elias Lukwago, why should his home be invaded if you want them to go to court? Why would the Honorable Muwanga Kivumbi be abducted on the way when these people would have actually been summoned either by police, because the Criminal Procedure Code Act and the Police Act empower the police to summon suspects. Why couldn't the police summon the Honorable Elias Lukwago? Why wouldn't the police summon the Honorable Muwanga Kivumbi? If you are not talking about police summons, they are also court summons. Once evidence has been gathered, it is taken to court and the court summons. Why would we be talking about abductions? And why would the state be at the forefront of abducting its own citizens? So these are issues, Madam Chairperson, that I implore you to engage internally with the different stakeholders. Look at the issue of remanding suspects who bear visible torture marks or who are sick. These ones don't belong to prison. Suspects that bear torture marks, suspects that are sick, don't belong to prisons. They actually belong to the hospital. Again, as you engage in the jail sector internally, could you please appeal to the judiciary that when somebody is arraigned in court and they have torture marks, they should not be remanded to prison. They should be sent to hospital to be treated, because you can actually be a prisoner and hospitalized. We have seen people in prisons on in hospitals on handicaps, so that we avoid the embarrassment of bringing limping people who have blood-stained shirts in the courts. It's really an embarrassment. So for me, my call on you as a commission, not as an individual, but as a commission, under the justice, law, and order sector, you should really be, these are things you should be engaging internally for purposes of avoiding some of the scenarios we are looking at. Finally, is really this entire concept of impunity. As I said, the Uganda Human Rights Commission is a gatekeeper of human rights. But you see, when you look at the impunity happening, Madam Chairperson, as a country, I get very worried. A colleague is talking about Public Order Management Act. Police using this law to stop public meetings. But with the greatest respect, Madam Chairperson, the provisions that police is using to stop public meetings were declared unconstitutional. In fact, when the Honorable Muwanga Kivumbi went to court in Muwanga Kivumbi versus Attorney General, Section 32 was declared unconstitutional. An attempt was made to bring it in the Public Order Management Act. Still, the Constitutional Court nullified it, declared it unconstitutional. So as we speak now, police has no legal basis whatsoever to stop a public meeting on account of permission. But what is happening is that police has arrogated unto itself all the powers. So this issue of impunity is something that must be addressed. We recognize, I have been a member of the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, where I have interacted with you and your team. We recognize the resource constraints and challenges that the Commission may face. That is recognized, there's no doubt about it. But the public wants to feel the Commission. My colleagues I know will tell you, the public perception is that the Commission has not been responsive to the issues of human rights violations. That's the public perception, and I belong to the public. Now, whether they are right or wrong, that is the perception. Now, if we are to collectively make a case for availing resources to the Human Rights Commission, then the public should be at the forefront of making that case. But this public that feels they are not being properly served may not make that case. I want to humbly plead with you, Chairperson and the team, to ensure that you assuage the public perception towards the Human Rights Commission. And I will tell you that as political party leaders, we will be behind you. I know some of the threats you are going through are the threats some of us have received. I know that there are tweets that have been directed against you. There are tweets that have been directed against all of us. These days, there's a statement which is always made. Does your lawyer have a lawyer? A very common statement. Because they will arrest your lawyer today, so your lawyer will also need a lawyer. Eh? Okay, so this is happening out there. So I think we could work together for purposes, and I want to commit that as political party leaders, we will offer total support and protection to every Ugandan, to all our institutions, and as we said, we are here because we believe in you, we trust you, and we hope that you have most of the solutions that we have proposed. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Honorable Gaira.
Thank you very much, Doctor. And thank you.
Like the army and the police, which have been prominently mentioned in the petition. We are grateful to the Joint Democratic Platform that from page 8 to the end, you suggest specific action points for the Uganda Human Rights Commission. We will study them and determine the low-hanging fruits for faster harvesting. I want to assure you that we are open to the suggested, to what you suggest for us to do here, and to the quarterly bilateral engagements. The issue of long pretrial remands is a little bit tricky in light of the provisions of Article 53, Clause 3 of the Constitution. Doreen, we did carry here a copy of the Constitution. I don't know. Yes.
That one was brought in the context of jealousy.
Yes.
Remember we mentioned it.
You're right.
Yeah.
It does not prevent us from engaging.
Exactly.
In-house.
In-house, yes.
From having a discussion
Exactly.
with our
Partners.
colleagues
Yes.
and partners. For the benefit of the Fourth Estate, that provision says in the performance of its functions, the Commission shall, I think, no, it says, Clause 4. It says the Commission shall not investigate any matter which is pending before a court or judicial tribunal. But I think this can be interpreted to exclude genuine discussions in broad terms on human rights issues, provided we are not confrontational in our approach. Thank you, learned friend. Of places of detention and other suggested roles. This is already, like convening tribunal sessions, is already part of our regular activities. This is work we do. And actually, in the course of this, like the inspection of places of detention, you suggested they should be unannounced, and they are unannounced. Perhaps with the exception of prisons, once in a while we can inform the OC in charge of a prison within hours before we arrive. But other places of detention, we usually do not announce. We just arrive, or we just land. By the way, now that the Deputy President of NUP's promised to return to us, I'm interested in knowing the location of the basement. I don't know whether it's one or several. So since you say you've been there, I wish to know where the basement is.
I didn't see where I was, but I know it's in Uganda. And they were announcing, the megaphones were announcing schools around Chitoro and headed there.
I have, I think you are the third person I have met who says they were held in a basement. The previous two people who I met, they failed to tell me where the basement is.
Madam Chairperson, I
You-
think, excuse me, the concept.
In the room that I was in, there is a Muslim lady called Asia Nabineni. By the time I reached there on 14th January, she was telling me that's her 80th day. 80th, yeah, 80. Shinana, yeah. She had been abducted in October. I'm out and I have never seen her, indicating that she is still in that very basement.
Oh, good.
Okay, Asia Nabinene,
Nabinene.
did she tell you where she's from?
Yes. She comes from Katari.
Qatar.
Sebuku, yeah.
I guess she told you her phone number. She gave you her phone number.
No, she didn't. There is no phone there.
So I mean, normally when we are all out, we at least she knows her phone number. She could have shared it.
I wasn't able to write. Their phones are there. We are all there.
That someone can forget her phone number on the alleged extrajudicial killings by, I think, Honorable Tafire mentioned specifically the crime intelligence. Is it a unit? Is it a directorate? Okay, the crime intelligence directorate. Definitely, we took that matter very seriously. We wrote to Honorable Otafire a letter. I don't remember the date. We wrote that letter. Was it in May?
Yes, in May.
June? Okay.
In May.
Seeking further and better particulars. We believe that the Minister of Internal Affairs has access to information, perhaps which we are not privy to, but by virtue of his position. We assume that he was, because he posted that on X, we assumed that this was not random or just leisurely, fun. We took that very serious, so I wrote to him a letter seeking to know the names of the victims, where the victims were picked from, who the next of kin for those victims are, and how we can reach them. I wrote to Honorable Otafire that letter. I'm so grateful that he responded. His response was, I think, 2 sentences. It was a very, very brief reply. But he pointed at some incident, and I have since brought this to the attention of the Directorate of Military Intelligence, of crime intelligence, and I gave them a deadline within which to respond. I think that deadline is, I think we gave them 2 weeks. But I addressed this letter to not to the Director, Crime Intelligence, but to the Inspector General of Police. We want some information from them. So this is a matter still under investigation. Once our investigation is complete, we shall make our report public. That's what I can say about what the minister called extrajudicial killings. Honorable Muwanga Kivumbi, again, I learned that I think his family filed that application in the court. We call it habeas corpus. Yes, yes. And I think that took us out of jurisdiction. So But again, that does not prevent us from engaging. We will continue to engage. This is a matter of concern to every human rights defender, and I think to every Ugandan. So we shall continue to engage. And now that you are our key stakeholder, we will share with you whatever information we will have found. But now allow me to end this.
One small issue on the children. I request your office to look into the matter.
Wano tuzze ng'ebibiina by'obufuzi ebiri mu opposition mu kye twayise the Joint Democratic Platform. Era ebibiina 8 byatadde emikono ku kiwandiiko kino namutayiika kye tuzze okuwa chairperson wa Human Rights Commission. Era nga tuzze okumuwa ekiwandiiko kino namutayiika nga mulimu ebintu bye tulaba mu ggwanga by'okwemulugunya ate nga bigwira ddala mu kkowe lyebyo bye balina obuyinza okukolako. Article ya 5 emuwa obuyinza bungi nnyo okusobola okukoowoola omuntu yenna akwatibwako ensonga zino ne yeewozaako era n'okumusaba ekiwandiiko kyonna n'akireeta kabeeraani chairperson wa Uganda Human Rights Commission. Kino ekitongole kirina obuyinza ku bantu bonna ababa bakwatibwako ensonga, kabeere president, kabeere CDF, kabeere minister wa justice, kabeeraani. N'olwekyo tusinziira mu buyinza buno ne tumwesiga oba okwesiga ekitongole kino okutunula mu nsonga zino 5. Okusooka, abantu ekiwamba abantu ekikudde ejjembe ng'era omuntu eyakasembayo okuwambibwa ye Muwanga Kivumbi nakati tetumanyi oba yattibwa kubanga n'omulambo gwe tebagutuwanga oba ali mu basement ng'era gye babadde babateeka. Ekyo kye bayita enforced disappearance and unlawful detention. Kino ekitongole kiweebwa obuyinza n'okulawuna n'okutegeera ebitundu oba ebifo omusibibwa abantu kazibeere basement ng'ezo. N'olwekyo bwe babeera nga beebakidde ku mulimu ekyo tuzze kukibooleka basobole okunoonyereza abantu nga bano babasibiddewa era ezo basement ziruwa bye bakoleramu bintu bya nnabaki n'abo bennyini ababa babikola babakube ku nsolobotto Uganda esobole okutebenkera. Ekyokubiri, tutunuulidde engeri abantu abatali bajaasi abatali basirikale gye batwalibwa mu kkooti ez'amagye. Kino weekiri Supreme Court yakigaana naye ate ne bagenda mu maaso n'okukikola naye ng'abakulu bano aba human rights bandibadde balina eddoboozi ly'amaanyi ku nsonga eno okusobola okukangavvula oba okuboggolera abo abakola ebikolobero bino naye ne basirika obusirisi. Ekyo nga nakyo kituluma. Ne tutunuulira akanyigo ke batutaddemu akakwatagana n'eddembe ery'obuntu ery'okukuŋŋaana nga bwe tuba twagadde, okubaaganya ebirowoozo nga bwe twagadde, oba kusinza. Abamu mumanyi bulungi nti twategeka Juma wiiki 2 emabega okusaba era n'okusabira abantu be twali twagala okusabira ku kitebe kya PFF Katonga Road. Amagye ne gatwebulungulula n'ekifo ne bakisalako ne batangira buli muntu okugenda okusinza. Ebintu ebyo bituluma, biruma eggwanga, si ffe ffekka, naye ekitongole kyandibadde kibirwanako kye kino. N'olwekyo tuzze kukizuukusa balina obuvunaanyizibwa eri ffe abantu abatuusibwako ebikolobero bino n'okubajjukiza nti amaanyi bagalina. Ekyokuna kwe kusosola abantu okusinziira ku ndowooza zaabwe ez'ebyobufuzi. Eno constitution etuwa eddembe okulowooza nga bwe tulowooza, okubeera n'abantu nga bwe tuteekwa okubeera nabo, ddembe lyaffe n'ebirowoozo ebyaffe ebyawukana ku balala, ddembe lyaffe. Naye olwaleero
munnabyabufuzi oba omukulembeze w'ebibiina oba omukulembeze w'ekibiina ky'ebyobufuzi ekiri mu opposition kati yafuuka omuntu omuboole mu Uganda ng'ate gavumenti yemuboola yemuteekako ekinyiga yemuyigganya yemusiba olwaleero okubeera munnabyabufuzi ayogera eri eggwanga ebintu ebikontana n'ebyo gavumenti byeriko obeera omuntu omuboole era asobola okusibibwa essaawa yonna. Era na wano tuli mu mbeera eyinza okulowoozesa nti akaseera konna omuntu bagenda kumukwata, naye ng'ekitongole kiteekwa okututeerayo akabega n'okwasanguza ebyo bye tutayasanguzizza n'okusobola okuba ku nsoloboto bitongole binnaabyo biri mu gavumenti kyekino ekya Uganda Human Rights Commission ekirina obuyinza obw'amaanyi mu constitution obutakozesebwa ekituleese wano. N'ekisembayo kyetutunuulidde kwe kulaba nti kaakati Uganda efugibwa amagye gawambye buli kintu, amagye gasalawo kinene nnyo ku buli kintu, era ekintu ekiyitibwa ebyokwerinda kikozesebwa gavumenti eno okusalawo obutya omusango bwe gugenda okusalibwa, okusalawo ani agenda okuweebwa omulimu guno, okusalawo ani agenda okufuna contract gundi bw'obeera nga toli mu NRM era nga togiwagira. Amagye n'ebitongole ebikesi bye bigenda okusalawo oba n'omwana we anaafuna omulimu oba nedda, oba kampuni ye neefuna contract oba nedda. Naye ate ng'ekisinga obukulu kati kyafuuka kya bulijjo nti amagye galina n'ebitongole bikola emirimu egyandibadde gikolebwa kampuni ez'abantu aba bulijjo. Era ojja basanga nga be bazimba enguudo, be bazimba amalwaliro, be bazimba amasomero, ate nga tebavuganyizibwa, tebakubibwa ku nsolobotto. Naye n'ebintu ebirala bye bakola emirimu poliisi gye yandikoze. Kale ekyo ne kijjawo embeera ey'abantu abeefuga, sovereignty ey'abantu, okubeera nti twefuga tetulina kikono ky'amagye kituwaliriza kukola kino oba kiri, oba kitutiisa obutakola kino oba kiri, kubanga bo bakozesa endowooza ey'amagye order ni moja eryanyi ery'emmundu okusobola okulaba nga abantu bagoberera kye baba baagadde. Okwo kubeera kutyoboola ddembe lya buntu lya bwebange tetuwakanya ne sekuwakanya yenna, naye ng'era eddembe eryo lituweebwa constitution ya Uganda, so nga te constitution ya Uganda eteekwa okubeera nga ekuumibwa ebitongole nga bino ekya Human Rights Commission ekiteekwa okuba ku nsolobotto abantu abatweboola eddembe ery'obuntu ery'obwebange. Kyekituleese wano.
Siimye basinkana amannya nze Tukamushaba Jacqueline Jole nga ndi mumyuka wa president owa NUP mu Western Uganda. Olwaleero tuzze wano okwongera okuleeta amaloboozi gaffe ng'ebibiina eby'opposition ebyenjawulo ku nsonga nnyingi naye ng'ekutte ejjembe ya kiwamba bantu nga eyakasembayo okuwambibwa ye Honorable Muwanga Kivumbi, Deputy President wa NUP lwa Central Uganda. Tuzze tusinkane mukyala Wangadya nga tuyina essuubi nti ku luno agenda tuddamu kubanga naye twalabye ng'ennyiike alabika agigabana naffe. Olwasembayo mukama wange yali yaleeta okwemulugunya ku baali baabuzibwawo nga bakibalama ne tutafuna kuddibwamu. Naye ku luno tuzze n'essuubi eppya nti kirabika ebiseera gye bizze byemulungula naye alabye nga waliwo akakiiko kye keetaaga okukolawo. So tuzze tusinkanye naye tumunnyonnyodde ne tumugamba ebibeera mu basement nga nze yali yagigendamu, era tukakasizza nti omunene Kabwejungira agenda muyita abitebye eyo abantu gye bakuumibwa awatamanyi mayitire yewa. So tulinze paka nga atuzzeemu tujja kwongera obbategeeza ebinaaba bivuddemu mu lutuula luno. Basement sijja kulimba nti manyiyo gyeri kuba bw'olinnya mu mmotoka yaabwe kyokomako okulaba nti emmotoka eba ya drone ng'era abakutwala bambadde by'amagye. Naye bw'otuuka muli bakusiba akakookolo ku maaso baddamu okajjako ng'otuuse mu ruumu so kiringa bw'onoobeera mu ofiisi muno n'obanga ekifo kyokka ky'omanyi mu eyo basement ye ruumu yo, so tosobola kumanya oba hoteeri oba eyina rooms nnyingi oba ntono, kyemmanyi ye ruumu mwe nali. Naye akaseera ako ke nalimu kye nnyinza okugamba byali biseera ng'abaana b'amasomero banaatera okuddamu, so wabanga wayitawo ebimotoka by'ebizindaalo ebiranga ng'amasomero ge balanga geego ga Nnamulanda, Kitoolo, Entebbe. So mu kukakasa okwange mmanyi nti wadde banzija Lukiga nali mu Buganda era nteebereza okuba nga nali Entebbe.
Jole, ogambye nti nno
ensonga etweraliikiriza nti luli oluusi omukulu awamba abantu yabadde ayinamu ak'okubalaata n'okwewaana. Bw'amala otuwamba ne tulinda ffenna ku mukutu migatta bantu katulabe yamuyina. So oluusi n'ateekayo ebifaananyi ebivvoola nga ku Eddi Mutwe twabirabira ne tumanya nti musajja wattu Lunyankole kwali ayiga eyo mu basement. Bwe baatutte mukulu Erias Lukwago era ebifaananyi ne tubiraba mu Pampa ne tutegeera nti yakafuuyisa emirundi egisoba mu 10 ne tuguma. Naye ku luno ekitweraliikiriza nti mukulu Muwanga Kivumbi okuva lwe yagenze ye tetunnawulizaako nti oba eri yamuyina oba etamuyina. Kyekimu ku bye tuzze okunnyonnyola mukulu Wangadya nga tumubuuza mukulembeze munnaffe mu National Unity Platform ali luddawa. Kyannaku nnyo nti bizze bibaawo naye nga tetuwulirizibwa, kubanga ne mukulu Muhammad Segirinya naye yali yakava mu kkomera nga bamuwadde bbeyiru era ne baddamu ne bamuyoola. So tuzze okwongera okukkaatiriza ensonga eno nti bannaaye abatuwamba kye mukola tekiri mu mateeka, naye era twagala okumanya Muwanga Kivumbi ali luddawa, mulamu mufu, mulwadde mulamu. Embeera mu basement yo etiisa. Buli omu ndowooza bamutwala bubwe. Nze omu tebalina njala ze banzijamu, enjala zange nziina. Bangabulanga akawunga n'ebijanjaalo buli lunaku. Naye nga psychologically obeera tortured. Kati nga nze bwe natuuka ne nsangayo n'omukyala gwe bayita Asia na Binene. Enda omutuukako nga ŋŋamba olwaleero ennaku z'omwezi mmeka nti 14 n'atandika okubala nga ye baamutwala mu gwa 10. Kati nze yali atuuse mu January nga ŋŋamba empezeza ennaku 8 ne mmanya nti kaweddemu. Ow'ekinaana nze olwo nkaabya kajanja. Ne tubeerayo naye nga bw'omulaba mukazi mukovu. First of all ye yali talya kawunga naturally. So kati bwe baleeta emmere alyako bijanjaalo. So yali mukovu naye nga mukyala musiraamu mukkiriza, buli lunaku ekiteeteeyi kye kyekyali omusaalo. Nga wagenda okusaala babeera batuwaddeyo essuuka eya UPDF. Ng'essuuka gye yeesiba bw'ati kiteeteeyi